Today, we uncover a lost chapter from the darkest days of the Yuuzhan Vong War, where a poisoned world became a galactic symbol of defeat. What happens when the tide of war reaches the very heart of the galaxy? When a world, once written off as a polluted wasteland, becomes the key to saving millions, and instead becomes the site of unspeakable devastation. This was Duro, a core world, a bastion of civilization, a glimmer of hope for the New Republic's refugee crisis, until the Yuuzhan Vong arrived. Today, we unravel how a world rebuilt to save others was dragged screaming into fire, how a Jedi Knight killed a space serpent the size of a starfighter, and how the torture of Leia Organa Solo nearly fractured the galaxy's last hope. Why Duro? Why would the Yuuzhan Vong, a species known for targeting symbols of strength and culture, target a polluted, largely abandoned core world? The answer lies in desperation and symbolism. By the time the war reached its third year, the New Republic was struggling to house the staggering number of refugees displaced by the Vong's brutal conquest of the Outer Rim and Mid-Rim. Duro, long polluted and scarred by orbital industry, had become the site of a massive New Republic-led terraforming initiative. Floating cities in orbit hosted hundreds of thousands of displaced civilians, and environmental teams began the painstaking process of reconditioning the planet's atmosphere. But to the Yuuzhan Vong, Duro represented something more: proof that the New Republic could adapt and fight back, a place where life was returning to a world that had been dead for decades. The Vong would not allow it. The attack was brutal and swift. The Vong deployed Dovin basils, bioengineered gravity warping organisms, to rip Duro's floating cities from orbit and slam them into the toxic surface. Urdorf City, one of the largest orbital hubs, was the only hub to escape intact, fleeing with thousands of civilians. The rest were obliterated, vaporized upon impact. And that wasn't all. The Yuuzhan Vong had brought with them beasts. The Ichna, a colossal space serpent capable of wrapping itself around entire city platforms, and Tuskart and Skaru, twin serpentine war monsters that tore through defences with biological weaponry fused into their bodies. The floating city of Or-Om fell victim to the Ichna. It might have been annihilated completely had it not been for Anakin Solo. In a moment of daring that echoed the heroism of Luke Skywalker at the Death Star, Anakin Solo, only 16 years old, piloted his starfighter directly toward the gaping maw of the Ichna. He fired a single proton torpedo right down its throat. The explosion tore the beast apart from the inside, but even Anakin's victory couldn't stop the inevitable. Duro was lost, and far worse things were about to happen on the ground. Leia had been on Duro during the assault, overseeing humanitarian efforts and helping evacuate refugees. She was captured by Warmaster Tsavong Lah, the most fanatical of the Vong leaders, a zealot devoted to the god of war, Yun Yamka. La tortured her to the brink of death, preparing to offer her as living sacrifice to his god. But La had not expected Jacen Solo, the young Jedi who had withdrawn from the Force out of fear of violence and destiny, now faced a terrible choice: remain passive or let his mother die. Jacen chose the Force. Using a swirl of objects, Jacen summoned a telekinetic whirlwind, hurling Lah out a window and severing the Warmaster's foot. It was a moment that changed Jacen and the war forever. Humiliated, injured, and furious, Tsavong Lah issued a galactic proclamation. "Give us your Jedi." He claimed he would halt the invasion at Duro if the galaxy handed over every Jedi. It was a lie and a masterstroke of psychological warfare. Entire planets betrayed Jedi in hiding. Force sensitives were handed over out of fear or desperation. Even non-Jedi were mistaken for targets. In the words of Nash Choka, Lah's eventual successor, he squandered our war on the Jedi. Duro wasn't just a military loss. It marked the beginning of the Jedi Purge in the new Jedi Order era. The Battle of Duro showed the galaxy a terrible truth. Even the core was not safe. Even hope could be poisoned. Even heroes could be broken. But in its ashes, something else was born. Jacen Solo took his first steps toward a destiny that would shape the future of the Force. The Jedi learned that survival meant adaptation, and the war entered its darkest, bloodiest phase yet. The Battle of Duro was supposed to be a chance at salvation. Instead, it became a symbol of betrayal, trauma, and sacrifice. What other secrets lie buried in the Yuuzhan Vong War? And what did this battle foreshadow about the future of the Solo children? But what do you think? Why did the galaxy hand over the Jedi once again? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, like, subscribe, and join us next week for another deep dive into the archives. If you are enjoying the videos, become a member and let's uncover the galaxy's biggest secrets together. Thanks for watching.